We are very happy to welcome the Rev Judith Elia with us today. We are talking about embracing the divine masculine. Rev Judith.
Good morning. Good morning. Happy Father's Day. And for those of you who shared about your fathers already, thank you for those sweet pictures and those sweet memories. Because today is the day when we together honor the divine masculine, the Father within all of us, and also the men in our lives, our friends, our husbands, partners, brothers, uncles, grandparents, grandsons, sons, nephews, co-parents, step-parents, bosses, coaches, male co-workers, teachers, priests, monks, and mentors. All those who guide, provide, support, and protect us. Men and women who give birth to these divine masculine qualities: courage, persistence, endurance, strength, and rational, logical thinking. We give thanks for everyone who's helped us to be strong, to take a stand, to act, to work hard, to put one foot in front of the other and keep walking, to never give up and fiercely protect that which we love. Now, as I'm saying this, you might be thinking, I don't know any of those men. Or you may be fortunate to know some who are on the other side of life, who have touched you when you were younger, or who may be here today. Because the divine masculine is an archetype, and it is a way for us to feel into and to see and form these qualities of God, Goddess, all that is, so that we too can bring them into manifestation. So take a moment and contemplate the men or the women who have exhibited these qualities, who've nurtured them in you, who've blessed you with an idea of what it looks like to be a father. These would be people who could take you on an adventure, because someone who's centered in their own divine masculine can come up with a lot of fun things to do with his divine feminine partner, with his friend, with his partner, in whatever form, with his children. And the importance of that can't be understated. The ability to joke, to laugh, to fish, to boat, to hike, to bike, to relax, to recreate all kinds of fun is essential to living a fulfilling life. So if you've had a dad like that, or a coach like that, or a teacher like that, or somebody in your life that inspires that in you, you're very lucky. The divine masculine is strong in the face of danger, protective, generous, restrained, and kind. The great medicine man Sun Bear used to say, and he was a very manly man, who could call the dolphins and the whales out of the ocean, and they would come to say hello to him. He was quite an amazing energy. And he would say it takes a lot of strength to be kind and gentle. It takes a lot of strength, a lot of restraint to be kind and gentle. And I see that in the leadership in Iran. I see them not wanting to kill innocent people. I see them praying for a solution. I saw them surprised that the United States really would not negotiate with them for peace, honestly. That instead, they preemptively, insidiously killed their leaders in their beds. That is the perversion of the divine masculine. That is the opposite of gentle, kind guidance. That's authoritarianism. That's fascism. That's oppression. That is a controlling and destructive energy of being forced by a hypocrite to do what I say, not what I do. Those are Gestapo parenting techniques, and those are authoritarian leaders. And in my spiritual world, the way I see it is, if that's out there in my world today, then it's in me and in you. And we have to heal that. We have to rise up as men and women in our true masculinity, in the divine qualities that this country was actually founded on. Not that those men totally embodied them, but we put them into the principles of this country. And we have to start living them. We're not. We haven't been. Another way that a dictator dad rules is, you're going to do it because I said so. How many times have we heard our current president bullying world leaders with those kinds of statements? That's the immature perversion of a masculine energy that has not become mature and that isn't secure. And although, like Gaber Mate, I can have some compassion for that because I can see that that person is traumatized, that is not a person we want to be leading a country. Not here, not in Israel, not in India, nowhere. And we see them everywhere. So what does that say about us as humanity? We need to clean, as Jesus said, the inside of our cup. We need to teach our children honesty, integrity, strength, courage, and kindness. Not greed and violence. Not oppression and bullying. We need to call ourselves on this because we are responsible. Totally. What we see is who we are. Jesus was not passive. People think about him and they think that he was, just some image of a weak person who couldn't stand up for what was right. But I have never thought that, because he was able to turn over the tables in the temple and, some scriptures say whip them as they went out the door, these greedy money changers. And he also called out the hypocrites, blind guides, thick-necked vipers to their face. And that's what got him killed. Just like those leaders in Iran got killed in their beds. It's the same energy that's been going on in the Holy Land for thousands of years. It hasn't changed. We need to change it. The archetype, I think, the best archetype for the divine masculine in the Bible, both the Hebrew Bible and the Christian canon, is Joseph. Both Josephs. Joseph in the rainbow-colored coat and Joseph who raised Jesus. Even though Jesus wasn't his kid, even though it was against the rules, he stood for something greater. And he stood and supported, if we're to, whether the story is true or not, the metaphysics of the story, he stood in his power to protect a good woman and bring into the world a child that we're still talking about. A child that left no one out of his circle of love. That reached out to people of different sects, different religions, different races, and he reached out to women. He actually, drew a line in the sand when a woman was about to be stoned and said, creatively, amazingly to the people there, the one who is without sin, you throw the first stone. He completely dispersed the energy of a woman in adultery being killed, as was the custom of his time. That's power. What is not power is these IDF soldiers that go into the West Bank that we have lots of film about, that taunt little kids, and then when they throw stones at them, they shoot and kill them. That is just complete cowardice. That is so base that it is even not a human quality. That is just something beyond the pale of negativity, to kill a child. Think about it. These are crimes against humanity. That means this is evil. This is so evil that all of us ought to be hurt by it. Every single one of us ought to be offended anytime an innocent child is killed. And innocent children have been massacred for decades in Palestine, and we have done nothing about it. Back to Joseph. Joseph, the one in Genesis, was the beloved child of his parents in old age. And Rachel gave birth to him, and his father was so amazed by this that he gave him a coat of many colors. It's like the rainbow flag of our LGBTQ community, as a symbol that God loves us all. The symbol that Noah got with the rainbow, that I will never abandon you again. It's a universal symbol of our one human family of God, that we have one parent of us all. But Joseph's brothers were jealous of his rainbow coat. They were jealous of their father's love of him. And they were greedy. And they represent the negativity of an unhealed, traumatized, immature divine masculine. They tried to kill him. They threw him into a pit. They sold him into slavery. But it didn't matter, because Joseph knew who he was. He was amazing and able to dream and imagine and help people to interpret their own dreams and help them to become who they wanted to become and help them with their future. Even if he was in jail or anywhere, he could find a way to be of service to other people. So he was always elevating his situation no matter where he was. Because wherever he was, he persisted in doing what was right and beneficial to help others. So he became successful. And he went through many ups and downs in his life. He gets falsely accused of many things. He gets put in jail, and he even helps people when he's there. And then he helps the Pharaoh so much, the Pharaoh representing, just our highest, most developed person, the part of us that can become illumined. He helps the Pharaoh to understand some dreams, and so in the future, the Pharaoh is able to save the nation because of his guidance. And so the brothers who threw him into the pit, they come for his help, not knowing it's him. And like Jesus on the cross, who says, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do," to the people that killed him. Joseph tells his brothers, "Don't worry. You may have meant it for evil, but God meant it for good." So I'd like you to take a moment now, and do you have all those pictures of the different men? And just take a look at some of these men and boys. So I wanted to give you some images of different men who embody for me different qualities of the divine masculine. I've known a lot of really great men from Cambodia and from Africa, and that's my dad. I'm kissing in the middle picture there, and my dad with his grandkids. I think you have another one, right? No, that's it? Okay, well, I'm sorry. I had all kinds of pictures of other men from other cultures, but you can let that one go. So it doesn't matter the form. It doesn't matter the size. It doesn't matter the shade. It doesn't matter the culture. The mature masculine is diligent in being who he or she is, and is generous and diligent and resilient and humble and truthful, and doesn't take offense or need retribution. The whole idea of revenge is not a virtue. Collective punishment is not in any religion. But these qualities, and let me ask you that are here with me, what is one quality that you would like to see brought forth that you think is really needed to be brought forth right now through mature men and women? Maybe you got that transmitted from your own father, or maybe someone else. Forgiveness. Compassion. Kindness. I didn't hear that. Gentleness. balance. Anybody else? Last word? Love. Yeah, love heals everything. So let's take a moment to breathe in those qualities and to see ourselves embodying those qualities, passing them on to our kids and grandkids. And wherever we are, whatever we can do to stand in those qualities. For me, one of the really big ones my dad taught me was honesty, truth, telling the truth. And I think that is one we really, really need to call people on and to develop in our people the ability to discern it, because it's not so hard to do. If you meditate, if you take time to be quiet, if you know who you are, and then someone comes before you and outright lies to you, you'll know. You know when people are lying. You can feel it in your gut, your heart. So we claim, as Joseph did to his brothers that tried to kill him, you may have meant it for evil, but God meant it for good. And so with all of this that we have going on in our country, that didn't start yesterday, but has been the seeds of this from the very beginning, we say there is a far greater thing going on here than we can currently see. And like a good man, we focus on the solution. We're going to fix this. And we do our part, whatever our unique soul can do, whatever our unique form can do, we do our part in making that happen so that no more children need to die, so that our country can actually stand for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, so that we can live in a place that we would call just and free, so that we can have the right to disagree and speak freely and engage in peaceful protest. And I ask each and every one of you, and I'm asking myself because it's not easy, to talk, to dialogue, to not shut people out, but also to not be afraid to express yourself. Because you know what the opposite of expression is? Depression. Right? So we need to have hope. We need to express ourselves clearly and pray for clarity and not get distracted, but pray for the highest and the best for humanity and never give up. Happy Father's Day.